Hello and welcome to another session on current affairs. In this session, we are going to understand the recent debate on capital punishment. This topic comes under General Studies Paper 2 of Civil Service Examination under the topic Government Policies and Interventions, Issues arising out of design and implementation of policies. The major objectives of the session are: we are going to understand capital punishment, why it is in news, why it should not be banned or why it should continue, arguments favor, and why it should be banned, or you can say arguments against it. Now, you know very well that recently Supreme Court revived the debate over capital punishment. You know very well that capital punishment is a topic which was in news from last several decades. To abolish or to continue, the debate is going on. As the issue is in Supreme Court, we cannot judge the result or we cannot expect the result in one way. So what we will do is, we will try to see this aspect from UPSC point of view. So before going to understand capital punishment or death penalty, I would like to tell you, what do you mean by doctrine of punishment? Here, according to Justice Markendeya Kathu, every punishment has 4 elements. Punishment has 4 elements, and number 1, every punishment has 4 elements. Number 1, it should create fear. That is, your punishment should create fear. 2, your punishment should have retributive principle, meaning the person who did a mistake has to pay for the mistake. 3, it should have prevention, or you can say preventive measures. That is, the person who did the mistake should not repeat it. And at last, you should have the element of reform. That is, you need to reform the person by the punishment. So these are the 4 important elements in the doctrine of punishment, and you can see clearly that as per Justice Markendeya Kathu observation, doctrine of punishment includes these 4 factors and he doesn't involve capital punishment too. So what exactly capital punishment is about and how it was structured into Indian laws? Here, capital punishment, also called as death penalty, and it is a state-sanctioned practice of killing a person as a punishment of a crime. In fact, American legal studies believe that this is the state highest punishment for any crime. Of course, even Indian laws also believes the same thing. Capital punishment is the highest punishment in India also. So here I would like to tell you that there are certain sections, for example, section IPC under section 121, if you waged war against government, you will get capital punishment. Then, as per after the Nirbhaya Act in 2012, we have Criminal Law Amendment, and which enacted 376A, and the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, which also brought capital punishment. Even capital punishment can be seen in POCSO Act also. So after understanding these elements, let us try to understand how this will be the procedure of the capital punishment. Let us consider a lower court ordered capital punishment against a culprit. Then you will go to High Court, and if High Court also remains the same stand, then you can reach to Supreme Court. And you know very well that there is a special leave petition under Article 136. By using that, you will reach Supreme Court. Imagine Supreme Court stand also same. Then you will go for the review petition, Article 131. So as per 136, with the special leave petition, you reached the Supreme Court, and 137 you filed again review petition. Let us say if Supreme Court stand is same, then you have curative petition. And within this curative petition, and you know very well that, and here the same bench which delivered the judgment, they will sit and they will discuss together to reconsider the judgment order. If the stand is same, the only option is, I mean, if you have any errors, definitely you will go to pardoning powers. Pardoning powers was empowered to the executive, that is president and governor, as per Article 72 and 161 respectively. So they can decide whether, I mean, if there is any judicial errors, they will decide and they will try to correct it. So this is how the process will goes on. However, let us try to focus about two important elements. What is the arguments? Arguments favors capital punishment. So here what is important is, I would like to bring some political scholars also here. So Aristotle believes that Plato believes that it is essential to purify the mistakes, or you can say to purify the wrongdoers, to purify the people who created disorder in the society. So to purify those kind of people's, capital punishment is essential and important. Whereas Aristotle too, as his teacher, he also believes that it is necessary. It is necessary to protect society. It is necessary to protect society. So both these veteran political scholars or Western political scholars, these two political scholars advise to have capital punishment because it aims to protect the society. At the same time, it aims to purify the disorder too. In fact, a famous sociological scholar, that is Immunel Kant also says in his philosophy of right, book, he says that every murderer deserves to die on the grounds that loss of life is incomparable to any penalty. So he also believes that a culprit should die because he is the person who took the life of another person. So it is justified to kill the murderer. So that is, Immunel Kant also believes that it is morally justified. It is morally justified. So after taking this political scholars' opinion, let us see our Supreme Court observations too. Supreme Court in Jagmonhan versus State of Uttar Pradesh, Supreme Court in Jagmonhan versus State of Uttar Pradesh believed that, even upheld the validity of capital punishment, and even said that all the procedures, or you can say the laws in the capital punishment, were laid down as per Article 21 rule of law. Here I would like to quote here Article 21, that is, right to life and liberty can be deprived by making procedure established by the law. So say IPC or Criminal Amendment Act 2013, which inducted section 376A, which all stated that it was established by the law. So as it is established by the law, it is validated, it is valid and even upheld by Constitution, upheld by Supreme Court also. However, Supreme Court passed a important judgment with respect to the capital punishment in the year 1980. In the Bachan Singh versus State of Punjab, and here it stated that yes, capital punishment is upheld, it's valid by the Constitution, but it should be utilized it should be utilized in the rarest of the rare case. So in the rarest of the rare case, it should be utilized. So here I would like to mention clearly that, so this Bachan Singh case clearly highlighted that there is a doctrine of rarest of the rare scenario here. Even Supreme Court, I think last month also declared that before announcing the capital punishment, you should see the pre and post crime attitude of the crime or scenarios of the crime. That is, before delivering the justice on the capital punishment, so the judges should consider the scenarios of pre and post crime with respect to the criminal also. So here I would like to say Law Commission reports under AP Shah in 2015. So Law Commission said he doesn't supported the Law Commission under AP Shah chairmanship in 2015 doesn't supported immediate ban or immediate abolishment of capital punishment. In fact, they believed that a swift manner is needed. a swift manner, slowly and gradually they can, but they can remove it, they can abolish it, but it should be limited to terror related cases. In fact, Law Commission in its previous reports in 2006 also believed that this capital punishment creating deterrence, this capital punishment providing deterrence to the crimes. So as it is providing deterrence, so this is very important to continue this capital punishment too. So, but punishment too. In fact, Law Commission 2006 also stated that there should be new alternative methods. Capital punishment, Law Commission 2006 believes that capital punishment should be continued, but there should be new alternative methods. So what we can understand is from all these points, that is the scholars and even constitution and Supreme Court and constitution. So scholars and Supreme Court both somewhat stick towards the capital punishment. They favored capital punishment in its existence. So after understanding the arguments favoring capital punishment, let us see arguments against the capital punishment. So here I would like to say two important elements. Number one, according to Amnesty International, which is a famous NGO who is fighting against this capital punishment, almost 140 countries banned, almost 140 countries abolished capital punishment. Hence, India as a progressive nation should ban this capital punishment. Even International Covenant on Civil and Cultural Rights, also civil and political rights, also stated that the capital punishment is violating this civil and political rights, and also even human rights. So this should be abolished. In addition to that, I would like to quote here Nelson Mandela very clearly. So Nelson Mandela believes that Nelson Mandela immediately after the fight against apartheid, he says that capital punishment is a reflection of animal instinct. So continuation of capital punishment is a reflection of animal instinct in the human beings. He as a president announced the abolishment of capital punishment, but he says that he is doing not as a president, but as a human being. It is not a legal issue, he said, it is a moral issue. So capital punishment, according to Nelson Mandela, is a reflection of animal instinct, and he also believes that he is doing abolishment not as a president but as a human being, not as a legal issue but as a moral issue. So that's the reason he abolished it. Even our Amartya Sen in one of his documents, clearly stated that there is some high unevenness. So Amartya Sen in one of his documents clearly stated that there is some high unevenness in its application. That's the reason it should be unevenness in its application. That's the reason it should be abolished. Here, regarding unevenness, I would like to mention one empirical data, that is National Law University of Delhi conducted death penalty report, and this death penalty report, they clearly stated that is 74% of the criminals who are facing capital punishment or death punishment, they are coming from economically vulnerable background, meaning they are subjected for poverty, they are subjected for high illiteracy, they are subjected for lack of employment. So those people are committing crime. And you know very well that the Buddha said in one of his teachings that poverty is the highest form of crime. and poverty is a sin. So, whom should be blamed? Because of lack of basic education, because of lacking moral development, or because of lacking knowledge development, they tends towards some illegal activities. Even I can say, even in recent reports, the United Nations drugs report also mentioned that because of poverty, people are moving towards drug peddler, because towards drug suppliers or drug peddlers. So this poverty element is unanswerable, and this poverty element is one of the reason for the heinous crimes, because lack of development morally, and also lack of conviction, lack of development of proper education also. So this report signals that, as Amartya Sen said, it is high unevenness in the application of death penalty, and that unevenness can be seen that most of the people who are facing capital punishment or death punishment are economically weaker people. And finally, it's Law Commission which mentioned that that it should be abolished. It should be abolished because it is unable to fulfill its deterrence. It's unable to fulfill its deterrence. Last but not least, our famous Gopalakrishna Gandhi, he even wrote a book, Abolishment of Capital Punishment. In that, he clearly mentioned that this capital punishment is highly immoral. And it should be abolished as soon as possible, because he believes that this is morally incorrect, and also it is violating the principles of Gandhi Indian society, because Gandhi believes that an eye for eye will make a world blind. So that's the reason it should not be continued at any aspects in India. So what we can say is, so after understanding all these aspects, what we can say is, in conclusion, that there should be the death penalty should be Supreme Court should take a fine balance approach here, because on one side it should protect the law and order, and also it should protect the life of the people. So both things are very important. Apart from that, the process of death penalty should be declared unconstitutional, as it is against the human rights. At the same time, there should be a certainty about the implementation of laws to reduce the crime rate. At the same time, there should be a faster developmental, social developmental aspect should be promoted, like increasing education and everything. So these are the alternative methods which should be done. So what is important element for lastly to conclude, that is, a fine balance should be there between the law and order and protection of life, and here it should be abolished as per the human rights, but the certainty of law should be raised, not the severities, or you can say not the number of multiple laws. Law should be certainly work faster resolution of cases, that should be done to reduce the crime rate. That is the biggest deterrence than having the capital punishment. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind.